My name is Sarah, but my closest friends call me Sadie. At 45, I am a widow, aging in silence. It has been almost a decade since my husband, the late Tom, left me with a legacy of suffocating quiet. My life is simple, monotonous, revolving around the kitchen and the backyard garden. I live for Emily, my only daughter. However, Emily is a career woman. The bank where she works demands all her time and energy. Initially, I thought Emily's marriage would bring more life to the house. And it did, with the presence of Jake, my son-in-law, who was only 28. He is a young man full of spirit. Jake set up a small business on our front porch, a stand selling cell phone accessories and minor repairs. Every morning, exactly at 7 a.m., I would hear the creak of the plastic chair and the jingle of the display case keys. That sight, seeing his broad back busy arranging cables and power banks, was the first thing that greeted my eyes. A sight that, strangely enough, slowly began to feel comforting. Emily, she leaves before the sun is fully up, rushing off in her sharp office wear with coffee in hand. She returns long after dusk, exhausted, and goes straight to her room. Virtually, all I see throughout the day is Jake's back. "Sadie, would you like some coffee?" he asked one afternoon, raising his mug. His smile was so genuine, so young. "Oh no, dear, I should be the one making it for you," I replied, feeling slightly embarrassed. From that day on, our routine changed. I would prepare some warm herbal tea or his favorite strong black coffee and bring it out to the porch. At first, I only stood for a moment. "Just so you have some company, Jake," I'd say, always using the excuse of maternal concern. But slowly, I started sitting down. I sat on the wicker chair near him. Our conversation started with the price of groceries, moved on to his complaints about customers who haggled too aggressively, and eventually drifted to his big dreams of having a proper store someday. In those conversations, I found something that had been missing from my life: undivided attention. My late husband loved me, but he was a quiet man. Jake, he listened. His gaze when I spoke about my solitude, about the difficult times, was a look that made me feel valued. It was a look that seemed to say, "I see you, Sarah. I truly see you." I began to anticipate our quiet moments. I waited for his smile. I longed for his gentle voice. This growing warmth, I knew, was a silent betrayal of my daughter, a transgression against the memory of my husband. I tried to suppress it. I am his mother-in-law. I'm 45. He's 28. This is insane. I scolded myself in front of the mirror, but when I returned to see Jake busy, working hard, the feeling crept back in, like ivy on a cold stone wall. Every time I cooked a meal for him, his favorite chicken curry, the slightly tangy soup, my heart fluttered. It was no longer mere duty, but a covert attempt to keep him by my side longer. "Mom's cooking is really good, Sadie. It makes me want to stay home all the time," he said one afternoon, closing his eyes to savor a bite. That simple compliment somehow tasted sweeter, more real than any praise I had heard in years. I chuckled softly, trying to conceal the emotional upheaval that almost brought me to tears. I started to feel guilty toward Emily. Emily loves her husband deeply, I know that, but she is too tired, too busy. She doesn't realize that her exhaustion and busyness have created a void that is now being filled by me and her husband, a space that is becoming increasingly intimate. That night, fate seemed to set the stage for our inner drama. The rain fell with terrifying intensity. The wind howled, shaking the windows of our suburban home. I was folding old laundry in the living room when a ferocious bolt of lightning knocked out all the power. Dark, so dark. My old phobia attacked. My chest tightened. My breath caught. I tried to fumble for a candle on the table, my hands trembling violently until a small vase tumbled, shattering on the floor. I froze in terror, black shadows dancing in the corners of my eyes. Suddenly, I heard footsteps, accompanied by the shuffle of slippers. It was Jake. "Sadie, are you okay?" His voice broke the silence. I instinctively stood up, moving toward the source of the sound, and without realizing it, without being stopped by my common sense, I hugged him with all the strength I had left. This was no ordinary hug. This was a cry from my lonely soul, seeking an anchor in the storm. "I'm sorry, Jake. I'm sorry. I'm so scared," I choked out, my voice breaking. My tears soaked his shirt. Jake's body went rigid, surprised, but instead of pushing me away, he slowly returned the embrace. His right arm wrapped around my shoulder, pulling me closer. I felt the pulse of his heartbeat near my ear. The warmth of his young, fit body spread through my cold limbs. It felt comforting, too comforting. It was a warmth I had missed for so long, a warmth that rightfully belonged to Emily. We stood there in that enduring darkness for minutes that felt like a lifetime. The rain thundered outside, but within that embrace, there was a strange tranquility, along with an intoxicating turmoil. I caught the faint, masculine scent of cologne from his neck. My mind screamed, "Let go! You are her mother." But my heart refused, begging, "Hold him. Don't let him leave." When the lights flickered back on with a startling snap, I immediately pulled away. My face was burning hot, my throat dry. "I'm so sorry, Jake. I didn't realize. I was genuinely panicked," I stammered, looking down, afraid to meet his eyes. Jake only gave a stiff nod, his eyes slightly red. His smile felt forced. He quickly turned around and pretended to adjust the cushions on the sofa. We didn't discuss it again, but since that moment, our relationship felt like a taut string, ready to snap. A forbidden desire had begun to settle in the air between us. Fate seemed determined to test our moral boundaries. A few days later, Emily announced that she had to attend a 3-day training session out of town. "Mom, please keep Jake company. It'll be a shame if he's all alone," Emily requested cheerfully while packing her suitcase. My heart pounded fiercely. 3 days. 3 days without Emily's presence. I knew this would be the toughest test. The first evening felt strange. After closing his stand, Jake came into the living room. We watched TV together. Usually, Emily would be the icebreaker, but now it was just the two of us. "It's so quiet without Em around," Jake said softly, his voice a little husky. "Yes, I feel that way too," I replied, trying to keep my tone neutral. We talked until late about his future, about my decision to remain a widow. Jake listened with deep empathy. He then recounted how he struggled to put himself through college while working. In that moment, he didn't feel like my son-in-law, but like a grown man searching for a genuine emotional connection. When I stood up to retire for the night, he gently held my hand. The touch was spontaneous, but lingering. "Wait, Sadie," he said, looking at me with eyes that radiated something dark and profound. "Thank you for always being here. I feel so comfortable in this house. So much warmth." That touch, that gaze was devastating. I slowly pulled my hand away, gave a strained smile, and hurried to my room. I didn't sleep that night. The memory of the embrace in the dark, and now the lingering touch of his hand danced in my mind. The second night, the tension escalated. We ate dinner alone, at a dining table that felt too large for just the two of us. Every bite, every sip, seemed shrouded in pregnant silence. Afterward, we sat on the sofa again. I knitted, he played a game on his phone, but we were close. Our feet touched, and I didn't dare pull mine away. I allowed that warmth to linger. It felt like taking a breath after being underwater for too long. When the lightning flashed again, I instinctively squeezed my eyes shut. Jake immediately turned off his phone. Without a word, he reached for his small cushion and placed it against my back, as if offering protection without needing to touch me again. Yet, his considerate action felt more intimate than physical contact. I looked at him. He looked back. The space between us narrowed. "Sadie, is what we're doing wrong?" He whispered, his voice barely audible over the rain. That question coming from his lips felt like a needle piercing my heart. It was a validation of my own feelings. "Yes, dear, it's wrong. Very wrong. I'm your mother-in-law," I replied, tears starting to well up. We were both swept away by the sorrow of this reality. Jake sighed heavily, his eyes glistening. "I don't know why, Sadie, but every time I'm near you, my pain and exhaustion disappear. I feel safe." That night, we just sat there, shoulder to shoulder, without any more words. I dozed off briefly and woke up with my head resting on his shoulder. He hadn't moved. He just let me be. When I jolted awake, dawn was breaking. I felt immense shame, yet, strangely, beneath that shame, there was a sense of peace. The last day without Emily was the peak of my moral and emotional suffering. I tried to keep myself busy by cooking and cleaning, but my eyes constantly sought Jake. That morning, Jake looked awkward and downcast at breakfast. He knew, and I knew, that night we had nearly fallen into the abyss. "Sadie, I'm sorry about last night. I didn't mean to," he started, unable to finish his sentence. I quickly interrupted him. "It's fine, Jake. Just assume I'm just overly fearful. Don't dwell on it. Emily will be home soon." However, instead of drifting apart, after that conversation, we became increasingly entangled in small intimacies. He helped me carry the heavy laundry basket. He fixed the leaky faucet in the kitchen. Every accidental brush of hands, every prolonged gaze was a sweet form of internal torture. Towards evening, I was folding laundry in the living room. Jake came in, carrying a mug of warm herbal tea for me. "You look tired, Sadie. I made you some ginger tea," he said, smiling softly. I was surprised and touched. He remembered that ginger tea was my favorite when I was tired. I accepted the mug. "Thank you, Jake," I said. We sat facing each other. The atmosphere was silent. The sound of the rain was, once again, the backdrop. But this time, the silence was different, full of tension. Jake's eyes were fixed on me, no longer with respect, but with a mixture of desire and despair. "Sadie, your gaze makes it hard for me to concentrate on anything," he whispered. I looked down. "I'm sorry, Jake. I'll stay away from you." "I can't," he said quietly. He moved closer, placing his hand over mine, which held the mug. "I feel alive again, Sadie. After all this time, I feel like someone truly sees and accepts me. My tears fell. I knew where this was headed. I knew this was destruction. Yet I also yearned for touch. I yearned to be loved. I yearned to be acknowledged. Jake leaned in closer. I couldn't move. I didn't resist. I just closed my eyes, surrendering to the warmth that called to me. He kissed me. This time, the kiss was longer, deeper. A kiss filled with regret, desire, and salty tears. I returned his kiss for a moment, allowing myself to sink into the beautiful nightmare. When the kiss broke, we were both breathless. Piercing guilt immediately replaced the momentary passion. I gently pushed him away. No, Jake, enough! We both retreated to our respective corners, trapped in the crushing weight of shame. Emily came home the next day, full of stories. I tried hard to put on a cheerful face, welcoming her with a smile. But Jake and I, we were both walking on broken glass. A few days later, Emily started noticing things. Perhaps not the kiss, but the sudden distance we had created. The two of us, who used to chat casually on the porch, were now meticulously avoiding each other. One evening, Emily caught us. I was handing Jake a bowl containing leftover soup. Our hands brushed briefly. That fleeting contact sparked a look in Jake's eyes, a look that shouldn't exist between a mother-in-law and a son-in-law. Emily saw it. She didn't say anything immediately. She just frowned, her gaze full of questions she dared not voice. "What's wrong with you and Jake, Mom? Things feel so awkward lately," Emily asked me later that night when we were alone in my room. "Oh, nothing, dear. It's nothing. Maybe Jake is just stressed about his business," I lied, a lie that tasted like poison on my tongue. But I knew Emily felt something. The aura in this house had changed, and I knew if this continued, Emily would discover our secret, and her marriage would be ruined. I was her mother. I had to protect her, even from myself. That night, after Emily was soundly asleep, I went out to the porch where Jake was still tidying his stand. The cold night air touched my skin, but my heart felt colder. "Jake, I've thought it through," I said, my voice trembling but firm. "We can't keep doing this. We've gone too far. We've betrayed Emily. I am your mother-in-law. You are her husband. This has to end." Jake turned, his eyes dark and full of sorrow. He knew what I was going to say. "I know, Sadie. Ever since that night, I haven't been able to sleep. I feel so guilty toward Emily. But every time I see you, I know I can't stay away." I wept. My tears fell uncontrollably. This was a forbidden love, a love that had to be sacrificed. "Then you must leave, Jake," I said, my voice now filled with despair. "You must go. You and Emily need to find your own place. Rent an apartment, far from my sight. If you stay here, I'm afraid we won't be able to control ourselves again." My request was cruel, but it was the only way to save Emily. Jake was silent. His own tears began to fall. He was a gentle man, and this decision clearly pained him. He nodded slowly, his shoulders slumping. "If that's what's best, Sadie, I'll do it. I don't want to ruin Emily's family. I'll tell her we need our own space to be more independent." That night, I returned to my room with an empty chest, a feeling of bottomless void. I knew I had lost the warmth I had just found, but I had saved my dignity and my daughter's happiness. Several weeks passed. Emily was overjoyed when Jake found a small apartment not too far from her office. "Mom, you'll visit often, won't you? So you don't get lonely," Emily said with a heartfelt smile. I smiled back, but behind that smile, there was an unbearable surge of grief. The moving day arrived. I helped them pack their belongings one by one. Every box I filled, every piece of clothing I folded, felt like a ritual of separation. Jake and I worked side by side, but barely spoke. Only meaningful glances were exchanged. Looks that couldn't be articulated. Looks that said, "We know what we are sacrificing here." When I handed him the last box containing their kitchen utensils, our hands touched. This time, the contact radiated no passion, but profound sorrow. "Take care, Sadie," he whispered softly, his eyes reflecting the same sense of loss as mine. "Take care of Emily, Jake. Take care of your marriage," I replied, my voice barely a whisper. As their small moving truck drove away, carrying Emily, who waved cheerfully, and Jake, who looked down before giving his wife a forced smile, I stood rooted in front of the house. My house returned to silence. Quiet. This time, the silence was not only caused by being widowed, but by my greatest sacrifice. That night, I sat alone in the living room, which now felt vast. The wicker chair on the porch was empty. There was no more aroma of coffee, no more warm smile to greet me. Tears flowed, wetting my hands. I had returned to being a lonely woman, but from this solitude, I learned that true love sometimes means letting go. Letting go to protect the happiness of the person we cherish. And for that, I am willing to endure the silence once more.